Now, if you watched the previous video, you'll know that we made a start on the Caddy RS build. This involves taking the 5-cylinder engine out of an Audi TT RS 8J and throwing it into a Volkswagen Caddy van, which also has 500,000 miles on it. Where we left things off was with the 5-cylinder completely mounted in the Caddy. Still sounds pretty insane in my head when I say these words. So yeah, pretty swift progress from the guys down at DDG Developments, which is where we're doing this conversion. And the plan for today in part 2 is to hopefully get a first startup on the van with this new engine. Now, of course, there's a number of things we need to do before we get to that point, and also there's a bunch of wiring involved. But what I'll do is I'll let the guys at DDG explain how they're going to be tackling this. And yeah, let's just crack on. Okay, so day 2 down at DDG Developments. As Dowd was just saying, these are the remains of the TTRS.
Suspension, shafts, brakes, this. We need to work out how we're going to get the intercooler on, but the rad pack is in.
Lewis is just here having a bunch of fun with this wiring.
So much fun.
This is the less glamorous side of a Caddy conversion.
Some of the wiring that we still need out of the TTRS. I'm going to open it all up, get rid of what we don't need that's already in the Caddy, and then splice this in as needed.
So what we're up to at the moment is we cut this loom off your car because we're not doing a full loom swap, how some people would do it, and it's not the way we want to go ahead. Any wires that aren't connected where we've cut that goes into the body, we're just pushing them to the side, like accelerator pedal, sport button, stuff like that. We've got your Caddy T94 here where we've taken the power and earth out of there and put them in the right pins in here now. Looks extremely messy like this, but it's the amount of time that we've put into it to build the diagram then into here. We want to get stuff like how you've got the active exhaust on the TT.
Yep.
The valve there, so you can have that back on at a later date when you get custom exhaust. You can have the valve to be switched on and off.
That's
the
it.
sport button to be switched on and off, the ESP, all that type of stuff. We're going to get all that in.
So as you can see, part 2 is where it really becomes an RS-powered Caddy. There was one thing getting the hardware in, but as with any modern car, if you don't get all the wiring sorted, this ain't going anywhere. So
we love wiring. A lot of our fans do as well.
So whilst Dowd and Lewis were cracking on with the wiring, I thought I'd make a start on a few of the random odd tasks that involved when doing a conversion like this. And one of those is swapping the shift assembly out of the TTRS and into the Caddy. It's a lot more straightforward of a task than it actually looks like. All you got to do is remove the heat shields on the lower part of the vehicle, get it back down again, hop in the cabin, remove the gear shifter, which is already pretty loose on this particular TTRS, and also the center console trim. And there you can see it's already held in with 4 nuts. You undo those and the whole assembly pretty much just drops out. I then hopped into the Caddy and pretty much repeated the exact same process, except the trim was a lot less fiddly and less broken. And just like that, there's both gear shift assemblies on the floor side by side. Once again proving how similar both of these vehicles are despite them looking completely different. But the one at the top is from the TTRS, has a slightly longer cable, and crucially the end brackets are totally different, so it allows to hook up to the MQ500 box. From there you pretty much just bolt it straight in, even the mounting points are exactly the same, and you pull the cable through. Now next on the list was fueling. As you know, this thing was originally a diesel and it had one less cylinder. But the first thing we're going to do is address the fuel tank and also the pump itself, as you can see on the screen here. Now this is the original Caddy pump, which has done 490,000 miles, but inside in no longer is the case. It's actually got the bits from the TTRS pump, which Cass had already gone ahead and transferred over early in the day. Now for those wondering, we did try the TTRS low pressure pump in the Caddy tank, but it wasn't quite seating and screwing in right, so this is the reason why we opted for this method. Right, so at the start of the day that was drained, right? All the diesel.
Yeah, so we fully drained the diesel out, and before we fully connect the lines at the front, we'll fire the fuel pump and empty the lines of anything else that's in it, flush them through once we've filled it all with petrol. Obviously. This pipe here is missing a clip now. They're really common to break, so we're going to try and find a clip before we throw the tank back up.
Have you got them on the TT then?
Yeah, fingers crossed they're exactly the same.
That's what keeps you fueling.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be cool putting 99 rod in that gap rather than diesel. Okay, quick little intermission. I will put you back into the video very shortly. I just got a couple of things I just wanted to mention. First thing, if you are enjoying the content on this channel, make sure you do go ahead and subscribe. I mentioned in part 1 how I've set myself a target of 200k subs this year, and I think we gained like 8,000 just in that video alone, so it's pretty mind-blowing. But yeah, I'm just glad a bunch of you folks are enjoying a 5-part Caddy build just as much as I am. And the second thing I just wanted to say is a big thank you to today's video sponsor, Car Vertical. Now, if you're not already familiar with Car Vertical, it's a website that allows you to obtain a full report on any car. All you gotta do is enter the registration of the vehicle in question or the VIN. Now, I've got an example of a badge report here on an Audi RS3 AV pre-facelift. Now, if you look here, it says we've got no issues with mileage, it says no issues with theft, but it has been accident damage in the past. There's also no outstanding finance on the vehicle. But the best bit is the damage section, where it actually gives you photos of the car salvage auction. And as you can see here, the front head of this thing is completely obliterated, which is not ideal because we've got that lovely 5-cylinder there. Right, so that's car vertical in a nutshell. I know it's pretty self-explanatory, but believe me, it will save some hassle down the line when you're looking for a new car. Now, they have given me my own special link, which is down below in the description. If you click on that and use the code TRH, it'll save you 20% off your next report. But without further ado, let's get cracking and continue with this Caddy RS. Okay, so we're going to move on to the intercooler now. We are fitting the standard one on. The main thing we want to do is get all the stock bits on, get the van up and running, and then we'll modify it as we go along. Here's a better look at the intercooler. Obviously, it is off a very used TTRS. Here you can see the outlet pipe. It needs to go, well, through there, which is a gap that currently does not exist. Naturally, of course, we started trimming the front panel to allow for the boost pipes. For the most part, this did the trick, and the intercooler sat perfectly below the crash bar, as it does with any TTRS or RS3. Looks very much OEM. All we needed was some brackets just to keep it in place. So I'm gonna let you guys enjoy a little welding montage from Lewis, and I'll catch you on the other end. Right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that little montage of Lewis get out with a welder that happens to be named a Caddy as well.
Just made some little brackets here, and we've drilled 2 holes in the original bracket at the bottom. On the TTRS, they come with the pins and grommets. So we've used the original grommets, and we've made some brackets suit for the original mounts. The only thing that's had to be changed on this really is the fact that we've had to cut that bracket out.
Of course,
we've still got to tidy that up yet, but we'll test mount it anyway. Beautiful. Should be bang on. I've made it.
Definitely is bang on that. That was still having fun there.
Yeah, there's a lot to do yet. We've had to add some additional relays into it now because the main fuse box was missing a lot of stuff that we needed. All the yellow markers are just to keep everything together for now, but I've still got a shed load of wires to make yet.
There we are. It's a good little accessories holder, isn't it? The wing of a Caddy.
Primary and secondary lambdas are perfect.
Right, okay, so moving on to the next steps here, we're going to relocate the battery, right? Because it's normally in the engine bay on this.
Yeah. So they're normally in the engine bay. There's no room there anymore because we've put a big engine in it. Pull these cup holders out that have been boxed in.
Seems like the more natural position. You open the slide door, it's not straight away there, because I may do something about this bulkhead just to make it a bit more open and have a bit more leg room up front.
That'll actually tuck in perfectly there. Like I say, we're just going to obviously do this with the wooden floor, trim that out, and then it'll sit perfectly flat. So this is the cable that obviously comes from the engine bay, from your fuse box, all the way back to our, in the TT, the battery in the boot. Just put a pilot hole up here, which is a good spot to go through. We're not going through the sill or anything, it's just a flat piece of floor.
Lovely.
I'm not going to use that grommet because it's massive. I'm going to use a different grommet. We've got quite a few, so just going to notch the floor a little bit where they've got the wood in the floor, like that. It'd be lovely if we could have just gone straight down there, and you'd have never seen it. But it goes through like the corner of the sill, which is like the main supporting bit at the back of the sill. So obviously drilling 2 massive holes in it, in great structurally, and also like it's just more hassle trying to get through both. All bend down, and then it's gone.
We've got the silver gas pedal from the TTRS. We also need it to do some wiring as well, don't we?
Yeah, the plug on them's different, like the wire different, pin different.
So we've done everything up to here now. We're just putting the fuel pump control wire in, and we are ready to give it a test.
Cool, so we're gonna get some oil and fuel in the thing and essentially give it a first crank.
It's amazing, isn't it? So much, it's so different.
Yeah, I'm saying it was a lot more complicated even than the Golf Mark 6 swap that you said.
Yeah, a lot harder.
Definitely come a long way though, the amount of wires that have come out to the old loom. It's gonna be cool waking up this industrial estate, whoever's still here, with a 5-pot that's got no silencers on it, coming out of a van that's got 500,000 miles on it. It's all sorts of crazy factors going on here. We've even got the auction writing still on the van as well.
Yeah, you need to keep that permanent.
Definitely, that used to stay on there. We've even got the air fresheners from the previous owner's expeditions. And also, check this out. We've test fitted the rear TTRS wheel, which seems to have plenty of clearance with the door. Just need to get custom brake pipes, which I'll pick up. That'll probably be the next part. We're hoping to end part 2 with the startup on the van.
Does it say diesel only?
It does say diesel only, actually.
Guess what this isn't?
There we are.
Yeah.
Making hand and chisel ready.
Yeah. This is like a big moment, isn't it? Putting petrol. Cass, do the honours, yeah? I'll just hold the camera here.
Yeah. Well, Cass can spill it all over me and you can watch and laugh.
Look at that. Unleaded, my friend.
One of our test ECUs on it,
Yep.
because we haven't got around to doing anything with yours yet. Everything's all they need you to use in. That fuel pump, secondary pump is all disabled now from the TDI wiring. DPF pressure sensor is disabled. We need to figure out which line is your active line in a minute anyway, because remember we've got to add an inline fuel filter at some point.
Fuel is in, yeah? Now we just need oil.
Not too bad under the light.
New sun plug going in. There you go, my friend. New filter. And there we are. Yeah, that definitely needed a bit of a shower, that did. Right then, is it the moment of truth then?
Put the key and see, do we get reaction? Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Now at this point we were hoping for fuel to come pouring through one of the lines, 1 to establish that the system was working correctly, and 2 to clear out any remaining diesel. Of course there was an issue as nothing was occurring. It later turned out to be really simple, but I'm going to save that for part 3. Now it was getting pretty late at this point and all of us were tired, so we thought it's best to do the troubleshooting the following morning. But the thing is, we spent most of the day waiting for this moment just to see if this 5-pot turns on. So we thought, no, let's spray some brake cleaner in the thing and just see if it fires.
Yeah.
Is it going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Fair play, lads. Fair play. Don't even know what to say.
That ran quite nicely actually, considering it's literally just running off brake cleaner. We've
Yeah.
just got to find out why we've got a fuel supply issue,
Yeah.
and then we'll be winning.
Fuel pump circuit fault, so we need to check
Right.
our relays and back. We might just need to swap the relay to a different style one.
And we need to get a proper battery terminal on tomorrow as well.
Yeah. How do you feel hearing that fire?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch that clip over and over when I get back home. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's going to send you to sleep.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So we'll end part 2 here. I'm gonna head back home now. It's literally, it's 11 o'clock now. Make sure you are subscribed if you haven't done so already. Drop a like on the video. Follow DDG on Instagram. Check my one out as well. Part 3 we'll get a bunch of stuff dialed in. But yeah, the RS Caddy lives, and this no longer does.